All right, so welcome everyone to my presentation. I'm calling it Tech Tales. Of course, it's made by me and of course, FKI, baby. Let's go. Let's go. All right, so introduction. Like this presentation is to just help players understand what late goons are and what goes into string tricks. I just know around, like, if you look around, there's always people doing it, but there's never anyone explaining it or even know what's going on. A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about the trick, so, well, whoopsies, my bad. I'm also really nervous, sorry, y'all.
No, you're good. You're good.
Sick. Okay, and I also want to preface this too. This area of tricks is not easy. Like, you will need to take time into this. This takes months. This, like, you don't get it just in one day. So if you have any questions about anything, just ask away, please. All right, so this is what the stuff that we're going to be covering. We're going to be covering late goons, of course, first, the tools to get started, how to get started, the importance of the placement of your kendama, and of course the best tutorials, which I wanted to include for me personally for y'all. And then chapter 2 is going to be pinch, of course, the tools to help, how to pinch, the thumb versus pointer, and styles/techniques.
Sweet.
Chapter 1, baby. Thank you to Father Ben Harold for creating this trick. Biggest innovator. We love Ben Harold in this house. All right, so tools, buddy, tools. Late goons work with the best tools. The lighter, so in my opinion, you need a heavier ken than a tama. I normally play with a 5 to 10 gram difference between my ken and my tama. It's because of the different weight that the ken will basically carry the kendama over for you, because late goons are late. They use the power and momentum from your hand. Sword heavier than cups. So if you look at it, like, it makes sense that the sword heavier would make it sense to keep its momentum and the tension in between. Wood types as well. I mean, that's just more of a preference thing, but I also want to put that out because I learned it on bamboo, and y'all can learn on bamboo too. It's just a lot more softer, a lot more lighter on your hand. You don't get strained as easy. And shorter string. This trick was invented in the OG days. So it makes sense that to get, it makes sense that to do this trick, to learn it, I recommend heavily to get a shorter string around a close to like 5 to 4, I would say. Yeah. So how to get started? You can't learn late goons without knowing where it came from. You know what I mean? So, of course, goon circles. And I know that we're all Dama players, and we have at least done this once in our lives so far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what does it do? It gives you a fundamental understanding on how to catch a late goon, not only how to catch it, but also control the tama as well. It gives you like more understanding on how, like, when it does come at you really fast, depending on your trick, and like how to control it. Help you track it, of course. All right, so starting a late goon, as you can see, I added a little bit of GIF so that you guys can get an idea of what to look for. So starting a late goon, it starts with a toss from Sarah grip. So of course, the easiest way to do it is from down spike, then holding the ken, toss it towards to your left shoulder, or if you're left-handed, to your right shoulder. And your hand's still holding the ken, then you toss it upwards. It'll look like this. I do that stuff all the time. And the next one is the airplane toss. So I would recommend the airplane toss more than just the down spike, or even holding just down spike and pulling it up. This is because, like, you throw late goons into your combos, or at least towards the end of it. And like, if you practice with your airplane toss, it gives you like, everything is like away from your hands for a second, and it'll give you that understanding, like, okay, if I'm gonna do trip late, jug late goon, like, it's all in one go. And if you just do it from down spike, you kind of have to spike, stop, then go. Airplane toss, it gives you more of a feeling of like, sorry, I need to reset for a second, my bad. But anyways, it just gives you a better understanding, in my opinion. So airplane toss. All right, so the importance of placement. The tama placement is crucial in my opinion. So if you can see from Ben, he tosses it in between his left ear and his right shoulder. That is the ideal point that you need to throw your tama. So, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, if you're right-handed, you throw it towards your left shoulder. If you're left-handed, you throw it towards your right shoulder. And Ben, of course, is the pioneer of it. And these are like the most textbook versions of late goons. And I slowed it down for y'all so you guys can get a better understanding of what it does and what it looks like. I'm an imagery person, so like this helps me. Yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah.
So like with the placement and everything, is it important for him to catch that ken before the tama is fully taut on that string?
It depends on which where you're at, but of course that is how you would get the textbook late goon. like I would catch the Ken first and let the string like have a tiny bit of tension so that the string has full tension all the way around. If it doesn't have that tension, I will explain in the presentation. But but it just makes it all look sloppy and it just doesn't look as appealing. Yeah.
All right, and then in this, it kind of looks like he's smacking. Is it like a full-on grab or more of like a cupping?
So basically, when you do a leg goon, like a lot of people mess this part up. They will use the momentum from their Ken to do a leg goon, but rather leg goons are more from your wrist and your fingers. We're all Dama players, so we have a lot of power here. We just don't realize it. Sometimes we need to we need to be dramatic about it to get that power. But in reality, we like literally do that with your Dama right now. You'll see how much power you have and how high it can go. See, especially if you're a tapper. Like all the. Oh yeah, and the toss is very light, and like a hard Tama toss will mess it up. So here's what a normal one looks like. If I were to throw the Tama a bit harder, I am gonna be a little bit more. I'm gonna dramatize it a little bit more. But you notice, okay, I almost laced it. But if you notice that the Tama just slowly started to like get out of, you start to lose control of it. It starts to spin in its own direction as if it's like its own thing. So like, wait, no, that was also another bad one, but. You see how they can also like kind of flailed midair? You're not looking for that. What you're looking for is straight tension in between the two. So Ken, that's me. Okay, so this is one of the important parts of it. I wanted to preface this. I feel like we're gonna be on this slide a little bit longer. But so the main toss has many different layers to understand. So it's a toss, not a swing. I'm gonna preface that a lot because of course leg goons are essentially this. And you're using the momentum, like I mentioned before, in your wrists and your fingers. You're not using the momentum from your Tama at all. So like a sloppy one will end up looking like that. And that's not a leg goon. That's more of a swing goon rather. It's still a trick regardless, but it's not good in my opinion. It's not it. And then the ideal toss point is the 9 o'clock toss point. So when your kendama is basically straight parallel with you to toss it up. Anything past it, there's a whole another misconception about that Elliot did mention, but that's for anything past like 2, basically. And then, of course, the wrist and finger power. And string tension, like the string tension is super important. Like we, as Kendama players, we always think about our Ken and our Dama. Players who don't have my sort of play style don't even consider the string. We just see it, they see it as an inconvenience. I see it as a way to like help you with, to get user control for your Ken. And like if you know how a perfect goon circle would look like. So when you toss it outwards and when the Ken does come back, the Tama will essentially do an turn midair for you to catch. That happens because of that tension. And then everything together, and thankfully Ben did already create this, and I wanted to put Ben up here because he's the main pioneer of it. So 1 toss, the Tama goes upwards towards his shoulder. Then 2, his Ken, he tosses it upwards. You're looking for a rainbow. I see it also as a 0.5 goon, like half of a goon, because essentially that's what you're doing. And the Ken will take all of the momentum. And if you do have a heavier setup, the Ken will basically carry it all the way for you. All right, so, okay, I'm really excited about this slide. So you can see side by side what a proper leg goon looks like. You can see me here doing the half rainbow rotation. I actually don't lace it. I just wanted to get the form down. But you can see here in this comparison where I use the Tama instead to swing it, a swing goon. Notice how it just kind of looks a little bit wonky. It doesn't look as clean or as like, tough. Yeah. But yeah, you're not using, just to preface it again, you're not using the swing from here. Everything that you're doing is in the power of your arm. And again, we're Dama players, so that stuff is, we have all the power, we just don't realize it. All right, so here's some important tips to take away from this leg goon chapter. Time will be your best friend. I will say best friend a lot because that's how that's how close you need to be with your kendama. Like it took me months to get this down, and even when I did think I got it down, I ended up realizing it was just a swing goon and not an actual leg goon. And what you're looking for is a 0.5 goon because it is basically half, so a full looks like this. You can see the Ken goes down and then around. A leg goon, your starting point's here, so it goes up and over instead of down and around. And then toss power, like I mentioned before plenty of times already, you have plenty of power within your wrists and your fingers. And the ideal toss point is 9 and 12 o'clock. I only mentioned the 12 o'clock because anything past 2, it's almost near impossible to get a clean late goon, especially like from the 9 o'clock toss point, because you're basically from 7 o'clock to 9 is where your little window is to generate the power. And if you're trying to send a trip, it's almost I mean, it's not impossible because I know people who've done it before really clean, but for people who don't even know what's going on, I feel like having that 9 to 12 will give them a greater and easier understanding, so it's not as intimidating. And then the best tutorials. I wanted to mention these because like this is what helped me, specifically the Atticus video. Like I've probably watched his video like thousands of times, just analyzing what he does, everything from his wrist to his fingers, like every single like tiny little detail that he's done in the trick. I've watched it, and this video is probably like only like 2.5 minutes, so it's not as long. So I wanted to also put in Dave Shear's late goon tutorial because he's of course one of the most iconic kendama YouTubers, of course. But his late goon tutorial it's just 10 minutes of him going in depth, him explaining it and how to, like the thought process that he has when it goes into a late goon. Pinch, the string gods have blessed this presentation. Oh. I had to, I had a little prayer for that. But chapter 2 pinch, this is, as you guys know, my style. This is where a lot of my tricks come into play. So tools again. I believe it was you, Nick, who mentioned that having the best tools can help you like with the better outcome. Yeah, so just like in that sense, string here, in this sense, is your best friend here. This is what helps you learn this stuff. So I would always recommend a thicker string from a 1.2 to a 1.5 millimeter string. And like the reasoning for that is because it's not only giving you a much bigger like surface area to pinch, but also because it is thicker as well, it's easier to pinch as well on top. Colored string as well. Oh my goodness, that helped me a lot. If you look at Adrian Esteban, like if you've seen his POV tricks before, you can see his string is neon green and you can see every single little part of it. And it's for a reason, because he can do tricks and like other stuff from those points because he can see the string. And also just looks visually appealing, I won't even lie. So opposite to late goons, extended string lengths will help you. So I would say like if you play like a 6, 7, I would go to 9 or 8 if you're just fully getting started into pinching. And a lightweight dama in general will help with this. You are sending a lot of spins and momentum. Everything goes fast. So if you have a lightweight dama, you can avoid a lot of damage. It's not as scary. All right, how to pinch. That's me. Okay, so the basic how to 1.5 goon pinch. And of course, if you're going to Nako, this is important. Sweets did mention, or if you look at the Sweets tutorial on Nako, like it's a half goon to pinch, which in my opinion is not the smartest choice to put for a Nako trick. I would recommend the 1.5 because if let's say like a lot of pro players have no clue how to pinch, so it doesn't make sense for them to do like a harder version of this trick. So a 1.5 goon compared to a 0.5, 1.5 builds a momentum for you so that you're able to fully get the little swing out, if you can see from there. And then if I were to do a half goon, you can see I don't have too much time to fully get the pinch down. And it's just a lot more harder you need to be quicker with it. If you do 1.5, you have more time, you can see it more, you have more control over it. And with this little baby diagram that I made, this is the ideal pinch spot points. So I see the string as like 100%. So let's say like halfway is 50%, a little more up is 60. In between that little area is the prime spot to hit a pinch trick. And you can see me doing it with the example. And yeah, that's what the ideal textbook pinch would look like. Okay, how to pinch. This is important as well. You can't just focus on the pinch. There are a lot of other factors that go into it, especially if like someone's trying to dramatize their pinch. It just loses the momentum. It just doesn't go upwards towards you. The tama goes sporadic. Like I know if I can do this, you see that? It just kind of goes in on its own way. The Ken didn't even do a full rotation back to my hand where it was supposed to go, and rather the tama kind of just looped fast on its own. And again, prefacing from my style of tricks, this trick is not easy and will take time to understand. So please, sometime this weekend, y'all, if you just want me to just sit on one-on-one with you to just teach you how to pinch perfectly or just how to get the right idea, talk to me. I may look scary like Jawan said earlier today, but but I promise I'm a silly, goofy guy.
Love you, Zach.
Love you too, buddy. All right, tension is very important. Brent Duffy is probably one of the more iconic players who have the pinch play style. If you look at all of his tricks right here, he keeps the tension even between each tosses back and forth. That tension is important because it gives you more control. And if it was all sporadic midair, it's kind of almost near impossible to pinch it. So you want to keep the tension so that you can keep a straight beeline eye contact with your string. All right, Jack Gilligan, the perfect person to mention momentum. And momentum can not only give you more control, but also Tama control as well. If you look at Jack's tricks here, well, not that part, but he does a dub can loop and then a dub late loop. And then you can see that he carries the momentum with him so that he can continue on with his little trick. They're both, tension and momentum are crucial for a textbook pinch. And like, it's Jack. Everyone's seen Jack's tricks. Like, I'm pretty sure, didn't he win Toddy? Or something, like a couple years ago? Does anyone know that?
I don't know, but that's crazy.
Yeah. He's definitely
What
a...
you have in front of us is insane.
Oh. I know that Jack is a... I know that Jack is a very big toddy contender, and if you guys seen him, I don't know if you guys see him in person, but he can do this just back to back to back.
He's so consistent with it.
Yeah, it's intimidating, man. He drives me to get better at my tricks.
He's fucked.
Yeah. Okay, mentality. Nate is the perfect person to put up for mentality. If you don't know Nate, he's probably the most mentally strong person I've ever met in the Dama scene. So the thing about pinches, you need to keep an open mind because, like I said, there's a lot of different layers. It's a lot to process within one tiny motion. Just keeping an open mind will help you a lot. And as much as you can, don't be scared to send it, all right? Because it's intimidating. Like you're relying on the tiniest part of your string to get the full momentum and flow to get the pinch right. But just try not to be as scared. Your string is your best friend. Your kendama is your best friend. Like having an understanding of your string can give you better control and help you understand how to unwrap your kendama, especially during freestyle. I don't know who's a freestyler out here, but just having the mentality of knowing that your kendama and your string and like every single part of it plays a factor, it greatly helps you understand how to unwrap your kendama, especially in freestyle. If you've seen Yasu, he has that. He doesn't do pinches, but he already has that understanding of how to unwrap his dama during his freestyle runs. Like he does the little like knee bounce and then he goes all around to get it out, or he sends like a ken flip to basically fully unwrap it itself. It just helps. Like mentally it helps, especially during freestyle. Thumb pinch. Okay, so I wanted to mention this because again, there's not much media on pinching, and I wanted to at least explain this to you guys, to whoever wants to learn pinching. There's two different ways of pinching. So of course there is the thumb versus pointer. The thumb uses primarily the thumb to catch. So it will look like this, or like you can look at the example. Okay, that was sick. It's the most commonly used and the most like well-known version of pinching. Fun facts about it, I wanted to also mention that part. It's used to end combos because the thumb pinch, you're basically stopping its momentum unless you have a different like motion with it. So like it's as if it's like a wall that you're pinching, and then it just stops, and with the momentum you can spike it. And this version of pinching, you pinch when the dom is vertical, meaning that like you can see me here perfectly. That when I make contact, the kendama was like right up here. Yeah. Now pointer, this is used by players who have a pinch playstyle. Like it has like Brent, Will, me, even Jack too. We all use our pointer then their thumb. So instead of us like catching it like out here, we're catching it downwards down here with our pointer, then our thumb to pinch it. Some fun facts about it. It's used to stack pinch tricks. Like if you look at Brent's tricks and like how he does all of his little re-goons, so all of his crazy loops, he's using primarily his pointer finger. It utilizes momentum a lot. And this version of this pinch trick pinches when the dama is horizontal, so like down here instead. So here's what a normal one looks like. Okay, yeah, I messed that one up. And then the pointer one looks like this. Yeah. So down here is where you would need it to be. So I also put them side by side. It is essentially the same exact trick, but if you look closer, it is the differences are very much clear. Here you can see pinching it basically upwards into that vertical position to send it back outwards. And if you look here, the pinching is down there instead. So I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but can y'all see that? Okay, so yeah.
Is the grip that you're using different, or is that more just like how your hand is oriented?
It's just because of the different versions of the pinch. Oh, yeah. So like the thumb normally utilizes being upwards, while the pointer is normally essentially horizontal or more down. Yeah.
Just like the ankle.
Yeah.
Do you go like more like horizontal like this, or more vertical? Like which one do you think is better?
Which one do I think is better between these two?
Yeah.
the thing is like they're both like essential to what pinching is and how to do them. Like I was able to expand more and more on it thanks to the pointer, but I was also able to expand more because of the thumb. There's a lot of other like it just.
But like, I noticed that your hand is like more like this instead of like this. Would you recommend having?
I'd recommend it to be like you're going at it face first.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other players who would do like the outside. Oh, hi guys. Sorry, I didn't see you. But I've seen players who like do the outside version where your hand would be down technically, but that doesn't really get you too far. Plus, having the outside pinch, like you don't see your kendama. You know, it's on the outside, and you have to rely on you're pinching this way, basically, essentially. When it's in front of you, you have a lot more control. You can do it. You can have a lot more speed like that. Oh wait, hold on. All right, sorry guys, I'm doing a combo. Hold on. Watch this. Watch this. Hold on. Watch this. Watch this. Oh, okay. I almost laced it. All right, so I also wanted to cover the different. Oh, sorry, Javi, go ahead. No, you're good. Sorry. Wait, go back. Yeah.
No, just a small question going back to the pin. If you obviously, I'm trying to learn to pinch. Of course. I'd love to know which of the two do you recommend someone start with?
So I would recommend the thumb pinch. I would recommend the pointer pinch if you know how to do spacewalk flows because that's already where you are with pinching. But the thumb is essentially the most common. There's a reason for it's the most common, and you're able to stop it, which is nice. Like you're able to stop and see like what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right. Pointer, you're kind of letting it flow you're letting its momentum speak for itself. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
So where's your finger on the pointer?
On the pointer pinch here, I'll slow down when I do it. Or it's in the same window of when you would pinch. It's just a lot more, horizontal. Yeah.
How do you keep it from wrapping around your index? Are you tucking your finger in a little bit?
Yeah, I'm tucking my finger in a little bit. So when I am here, this is what mine will end up looking like. I also fortify the pinch itself using my middle finger as well, so that it stays because it's using momentum and a lot of speed. It's hard to sometimes stop, and you might end up doing another different trick.
Can you do a twist with it really quickly? Like you just holding the pinch and then if you were doing a loop or so.
Oh, if I was doing a loop?
Yeah, because you can loop out of a pinch, right?
Yeah, you can loop out of a pinch, right? Yeah.
So because so you're pinching like this almost.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
And then, so
it just goes, yeah. And I try to have it a little bit to the side as well. That little redirection of your finger there doesn't affect it as much either, which is nice. And if you've ever done hand wraps before, you know that you can open and close it to get out of it. You see how I did there? You're essentially doing it with your pointer finger as well if you want to do a goon in it, or if you want to just send the thumb out straight out. Hold on. You can see, if you notice from that version at least, I was able to open my fingers to send the loop outwards and up. All right, so the different pinch styles. Again, this presentation is to help explain the different media, the different what people should know about it. So I categorize into 3 different styles, outcomes from pinching, but the most main one that everyone knows is the neutral style, the aggressive style, which is more primarily me, and then the flow style, which is more of the people who would do these, essentially just flow. So the neutral style, this style is the most common style of pinching, and most of the time people are using their thumb, if not majority of the time. And this consists of players getting into their pinches / their main play style is not pinching. Tom is the best person for this example because Tom, he's a very high level player, as we know. But if you look at his pinches compared to me and Brent's, it's not as high level, I would even count ET. Even though he's getting closer to aggressive style, but ET also as well is it's not his main style, Yeah. Now the aggressive one, that's me up there, baby. That's me. Yeah. So this style utilizes both their thumb and pointer finger to pinch. So this example I'm doing. Let's see. Let me end the combo real quick. So I'm doing trip up, jug, late goon, butterfly pinch to pinch infinite to trip goon out to butterfly regoon to jug trip back in. Yeah, that hurt my brain already just trying to.
Can you break down what an infinite is?
An infinite? Okay,
Yeah.
so as we know, infinite hand rolls or infinite finger swirls. So instead, for this version, you're pinching it and letting it spin. It's like a vertical like carousel, basically. Yeah. Carousel. So this is what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah, and of course, this is the new gen of pinch styles. I'm new gen like that. I would also mention that Ben also had the aggressive pinch style, even though he's the one who basically created everything. If you look at Fringe Case, Fringe Case, super high level stuff, and then he also can do the enders with pinch-ins or even adding more into combos.
Wait, by aggressive, do you mean fast or just like
It's aggressive. Like it's intimidating. That's why I mentioned it as aggressive, not fast, because it's very intimidating as well. And like, I mean, would you do this trick?
more about the style?
This is what we're covering. It's a style.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would say
yeah.
it's also like more of that trick happening than just like, hey, I just did a quick like goon pinch to something else.
Yeah.
Like, that's the focus of that trick.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah, you did my job, dog. Appreciate it. All right, the flow. So this style comes from the spacewalk flow, like the OG days where like JC, who would do all those things, yup. And of course it utilizes different pinch techniques to flow. Interesting fact about it, it's a lot more slower compared to the aggressive and neutral. Because if you go a lot more slower, you're able to control it, as you can see here. Then I can like keep it going. But majority of the time players are using their thumb, but if they have a greater understanding like me here, I'm using the different pinch style techniques to show it off here. And like they would just utilize their different tools. Brent also falls into this category of flow, same goes with pinchy. I wouldn't say Jack. Jack is definitely aggressive, I would say. Like, I'll attempt to explain what this trick is. Just let me finish the combo. This will be really funny to me in my opinion. Oh wait, I'm still going. My bad.
Did you notice that? I feel like you're still very aggressive.
Okay, so that's spacewalk, and then it goes into a pinch scramble, which scramble is this. This one is like used a lot by Jacob Watts in his combos. And then I'm going around, I believe, to a pinch wrap. Wait, I believe it's a pinch wrap with the loops. Yep, then wrap. Then I send it outwards, and then I can do another hand wrap to another scramble. And then I go back out to do a pinch regoon, or no, never mind. I do a pinch infinite with multiple loops in between, and then jug spike. Yeah, like even yeah, no, literally, like even me explaining it, it is like it's an insane stack of tricks in such a short amount of time, and it's like I compare it to like Tony Hawk, you know, like the games where you grind kickflips, you know, yeah. Yeah, that's the best way I can explain it.
I wonder how many points that was.
All right, so the different techniques. Of course, the regular pinch loops. I'm not going to be on this slide too long because everyone knows this one. But fun facts about it: it can be stacked 1 through 4, or even more. We haven't got there yet. I've been able to get to 5, but I haven't landed it yet. It is a lot. It takes a lot of strain on your fingers. Don't even get me started on blisters. Like if you like touch my hand or something, you're gonna see how much callus build up on my fingers so that I can do all of these tricks.
Wait, what do you mean stacked with 1 through 4? Like, what does that mean?
Oh, it's the amount of loops that you do within a pinch trick. So like this one would be technically 1 right here.
Gotcha.
And then this one would be 2. And then, you know, more and more. Do 3?
Yeah, do 3. You gotta do it now.
Dang it.
Oh my god.
Thank goodness the computer wasn't over there. And then I also wanted to include this because this is my thing that a lot of other players don't do. I've seen other players try to do it but can't replicate it. I call it the NATO pinch. I use this a lot in freestyle because it helps to build momentum. So like let's say if I'm sending out a goon and it just doesn't like hit right, I need to just increase my speed, I can just turn it into a NATO pinch and then continue the speed that I essentially want in the beginning to get my combos.
So while you're doing that NATO, are you doing that same normal pinch that anchored?
Mm-hmm. I used my pointer to do this one.
Okay. Would it be safe to say the NATO is almost like a variation of the infinite?
I wouldn't say that. No,
Okay.
It's called NATO pinch because it comes from tornado.
Okay. Got you.
Yeah. And then the revert / butterfly pinches. I'm happy I invented this, the butterfly pinch, but it does come from somewhere. Revert has been popularized by Jacob Lowe, and he uses his hand, as you can see, to revert it backwards. that's an insane trick. I can't believe he did that all 28 tricks later, dude. That's just wild. But I can't even explain that one, dude. That one hurts my brain looking at it. And then my version of it, I'm essentially stopping it, then redirecting all of the momentum and speed to send it back outwards to the other loop. I'll do it right now for you if I can. Oh, I'll give you one more. Yo. And then this one is, in my opinion, this is my most crucial slide I wanted to tell and inform people about. So this is with my own knowledge of tricks. I missed out on the eras of 2017 to 2020. So there was those tricks have been in the loop around those time. So re-goon is essentially when you pinch loop into another goon, as you can see from the little slide up there. And then consecutive is when you catch Sara or Ken to do another leg goon all in one motion. This is not a pinch trick. Consecutives are not a pinch trick. Re-goons are a pinch trick. So re-goons will end up looking like this. I don't know, let me get a better one for y'all. You can see how I'm looping the tama and then sending it outwards to do another goon. And then consecutive is when you catch Sara or Ken. I also did mention the Ken part because that's what I've been primarily starting to do, and I can see other players starting to do it as well. So this is what consecutives look like, if I can get it right.
Oh my god, that's so hard.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Like consecutives is way, like if late goons are down here, consecutives are probably up here. That's a lot more harder the consecutives are. I even learned the Ken one because the Sara catch is way harder to do. Like you're essentially stopping it and then going back again. With the Ken one, you continue its motion, which is why I like it. It just keeps going. Like, hold on, let me see if I can do 1, 2, 3. So you can see that. You can see a lot more. You can see a lot more still and a lot more like pillory I am.
Yeah. So would you consider those different, or they're just executed differently? Same trick though.
Executed differently, same trick. They're all in the same realm of it. The Ken one just continues the circular motion that a goon does have normally, while Sara, you're catching it and going back into late goon. If you notice from the consecutive or my Ken consecutives, I start from like here and then out using the speed from here. Sara, you go from here, then out here, then up. I just see the Sara as adding in too many extra steps, and it just kind of hurts your brain a little bit. So I chose the Ken one because you can, like, if you look at it, it's all in one circle. See? Yeah. And then these are my important tips. It's very similar to late goons. These will take time to click. It is really hard because it's just, you're relying on your string. Like I know my string is my best friend right now, but at first he was a little bully. He was mean. He was brutal. It's not just one action. There's other different factors that go into pinching, the momentum to all the tension within your string. I just mentioned it right there. And then your kendama is your best friend. Again, preface that one more time because you need to be that confident in your skill to essentially have such a high speed trick right next to your face. And it's your best friend. It's not going to hurt you unless like, you're scared of it, in my opinion.
Unless it hurts.
Yeah, yeah, it'll hurt you. And that's the end. I'm here all weekend. Just saying, if you want to learn stuff, I'm right here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I love to teach this stuff, man. It's my specialty, and I have a lot of fun with it, and I love seeing the enjoyment that people get when they start to see it, start to click, you know? So.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, man.